battery gets empty.
Yes, go quick.
Okay, yep. So, 4 questions. Okay. So, in the off chance that somebody doesn't know you, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you making?
I am Eric from Hand Tool Rescue, and I restore old tools on YouTube.
That pretty much sums it up.
That sums it
You're
up.
actually the guy that basically rebuilds tools on the internet.
Yes, back in the day.
Yeah. What is the first video someone should watch entering your channel for the first time?
Oh my god, that's a good question. I don't know because I do ridiculous things at all times. Probably, I would say the chainsaw, the latest large yellow McCulloch 99 chainsaw series would be something to watch because it contains most of me and my personality as well as the actual tool restoration part, of course.
Yes, that's true. I think it's the longest project next to your power hammer too.
It is the longest project currently. It's 4 videos to finish it up, and it took me months.
Yeah, I think you said on the podcast like someone who started like in October.
I started taking it apart in October, just to identify all the problems and all the parts I needed to order, and then I waited a few months for those parts to come in because I had to find somebody who had replacement parts of a saw that was built 75 years ago.
Yeah.
And then finally get towards the actual restoration process, and that was about 2 months from March to April.
Nice. When was the last time you had an oh shit moment during one of your projects?
Oh man, every day.
Okay, pretty much. Okay.
Every day.
Then let me rephrase that. Which of your project looks good on camera when you build it together, but actually has tons of mistakes in it that you're hiding?
Ooh, I wonder if there is anything. Most of them have worked after I restored them, so the main tool function was there, but I think the jackhammer that I did, the old English Kango jackhammer, it didn't feel as powerful as I thought it should, and I wasn't sure if that was because I did something wrong or if it's just the way it was, because it's one of the earliest jackhammers.
True. Yeah.
So it could be that one.
Okay, so yeah, the last question is usually what I ask is where you take your inspiration from, but in your case, you're actually, at least as far as I know, the first one who did the restoration video. So
yes, well, I'm not the first to ever restore something on YouTube, but I was probably the most. At the start, maybe the one who made it a little more popular than it was before, because all of a sudden crazy views started happening on all those videos.
Yeah.
But my inspiration comes from other YouTubers, as well as just kind of my personal journey in my workshop in terms of, I didn't have enough money to go and buy new tools to make a workshop.
Yeah.
So I would find older tools, used tools, and they were significantly cheaper.
Yep.
So it's just a cheaper way to get stuff, and if you could fix them up yourself, then it worked out fun. And then kind of grew from there in terms of the restoration process. So it was kind of a natural progression.
Nice.
And the inspiration it comes from, I'd say, in terms of videos, my style would be influenced by. There's a lot of Duresta in there. There's some AVE in there. There's some primitive technology in there. It's kind of a mix of those that, I don't know, made my style, if you wanted to call it something like that. Yeah, it's been a crazy journey.
Great. Well, thanks for giving some answers. And
no problem. Anytime. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Eric.
On the show.
Yeah, exactly. Questions. Who are you and where can we find you?
I am the Maker Monster. I'm at the Maker Monster on stuff, YouTube, Instagram. That's about it.
Nice. What kind of stuff do you make?
dumb stuff.
Okay.
Make some, yeah, just kind of silly things and furry things, kind of just bright colored dumb stuff.
Nice.
Whatever.
Yeah. So when people visit your channel, what is the first thing or the first video they should watch?
Oh, let me think. I think the chicken piano is a good, not the the chicken piano is a secret idea, secret future idea. The chicken slider, the chicken camera slider. I
Okay.
think that's a good one, and the hug machine. The hug machine's a nice one. I like that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you ever have the situation in one of your videos, or basically, I mean, we all upload projects. Is there one where, let's phrase it different. Which project did you upload which looks great but has so many hidden mistakes?
Oh, all of them. The best part about video is like you can just cut those parts out and nobody knows.
Exactly.
If it looks like it works, it works.
And change the camera angle, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Fantastic. And I mean, you come up with a lot of creative stuff. Where do you take your inspiration from?
I really don't know. There's the other day I was sitting around thinking of something and just like the dumbest idea pops into my head and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just do that. Like, I don't. It just
Nice.
kind of pops up.
So yeah, but basically it just pops up and you go for it?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So first question, who are you guys and where can people find you?
My name is Laurin. You can find me on Instagram, lcvdos.
LCVDS, okay.
Yeah.
I'm Phil, and you can find me at Eighttradesdesign on Instagram.
Nice. What do you guys make?
Whatever I come across really and get interested in, it's quite broad. Some woodworking, metalworking, large scale, small scale. Yeah.
I make basically everything. I made a leather tool belt, I made wooden rings, I made furniture. I just bought a welder by accident, so basically all over the place, whatever I can get my hands on.
Sweet. So when people go to your channel, what's the first video they should watch?
I don't have any videos, it's just photos.
Okay.
So it's Instagram, just scroll through really. Like, see, because it's quite varied depending on what you're interested in. Like, if you're interested in jewelry, I'm not good at that.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, just browse around basically on my Instagram as well. You'll probably find something interesting. At least I hope so.
Sweet. So you guys said both you work with a lot of different materials. So what's the favorite material to work with?
At the moment, I quite like. I got like some really old silver from my dad. I generally like precious metals. It's quite fun to work with because it's like there's just like this value, like because it's silver, but also because it's like from my dad from like 50 years ago. So like this personal value. That's really enjoyable.
Nice. This one, look at.
I did a lot of work with polymer clay in the last few weeks. It was a lot of fun, it was really nice. But I also do like EVA foam, because you can work really, really quickly with it.
Yeah. Okay, great. And where do you guys take your inspiration from?
Usually for me, it's like some kind of problem solving, basically. Like I come across like something that should be different, in my opinion, and then try to like fix it in that way or try to solve the problem.
Yeah, it's a lot of problem solving for me as well. It's a lot of the time it's just a problem I come across on a daily basis. Just little things that could lead a little bit of improvement, or I just see something that strikes me visually and I try to recreate it in my style or put my style to it and see whatever it will lead me.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you making?
My name is Brett McAfee. I work out of New York. I make all kinds of weird, silly things. A lot of piratey oriented things, pirate themed things. But I also love video games, so I do some video game oriented episodes. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Brett McAfee, but the brand is Skull&Spade.
Nice. So when people go to your YouTube page, what is the first video they should watch?
I like the maker, or the coin video, the most recent.
Okay.
How to electro etch and cast brass coins. That one was fun because it's a video game episode, but I like the build. Maybe the cutlass, the big pirate sword that I did.
That was a good one.
But I also think one of my favorites might be the Game of Fools with the giant battle axe. That was just silly and fun and weird, and I loved it.
Nice. Which one of your videos is basically the one where you like looks great on camera, but are actually like there's tons of mistakes in it?
Ooh, that one's tough. The treasure chest. That was also fairly recent, but that entire project was a nightmare.
Okay.
Almost everything went wrong. Every piece had to be built individually because I was using curved wood and welding and steel that wasn't the right size all the way over. That entire build was horrible.
Okay.
I love how it came out and the editing was done accordingly, but that build was horrible.
Exactly, so we have control over the video edit, right?
Yes, it's very true. I showed you all the successes.
Yep.
Because that's what I want to show, but that build was horrible.
Good. Another question, where do you take your inspiration from?
Honestly, the way my brain works, it's everything. I could be inspired by a tree that I see on the way into work, as well as a video game or a movie. I do take a lot of inspiration from film. I love watching new movies and learning cinematography tricks, and I follow certain directors to see what their work is, how it's produced.
Yeah.
And those, maybe a camera shot will inspire me, and I will choose to put that in a video and almost build the video around being able to shoot in that style.
Okay, so it's not just from like the project wise, but also basically choosing kind of the project for the video.
Yeah.
So what you say, it's like, what is more important for it, or not more important, but how much do you level like the actual video and the actual project? Like for once, like time-wise, how much do you spend on each part? And on the other side, like, which do you give like, well, if you have to choose the importance, which do you give more importance to?
The production. The project is always secondary.
Okay.
Like I don't ever really mind if the project doesn't come out exactly the way I had it planned from the beginning.
Because it never does anyway.
It never does. So take the coins for instance. You know, I knew that I wanted to try electro etching, but I also really wanted to try casting because I had never done it before.
Yeah.
But the initial idea was the maker coin that we've seen a lot of people producing a unique coin. I had this treasure chest, I wanted to fill it with pirate gold, and so however I got to the coin at the end was secondary to the idea that I had of producing the animations for it, making it a video game video, creating my own currency that I could then use in my video game.
Exactly. Like
and then
give it an actual purpose.
Yeah, and that one, as another example, I think there was something like 30 hours of animation and maybe only about 10 hours of work.
Yeah.
So the balance is on the production side.
And that with having some practice in editing.
Yes, that's with having a decent amount of experience with editing.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brett. Thanks.
Always a pleasure.
So, Al, for the people who don't know you, who are you, what are you making, and where can people find you?
My name is Al. I make anything that I can. So that's from electronics to woodwork, starting to dabble in some metal work, and playing with sort of textiles and leather, and occasionally I throw some food in there for a bit of fun. And you can find that on Al's Hack Shack, which is the name of my channel on YouTube.
Nice. So working with all those materials, what's your favorite material to work with?
I always think of wood as being like the gateway drug. So like it's the way in because it's really forgiving, it's really easy to work with, but it can also be beautiful. If you put the effort in, you can get nice things out of it. But I like it because you can make pretty much anything out of wood. And metal, I find like there's chemistry involved and it gets a little bit complicated, and you have to use the right settings when you're welding and all this stuff, and drilling through it is a pain in the ass. So, and I've never really had to make anything that structurally required to be made out of metal that I couldn't make out of wood. Do you know what I mean? So I think wood's an easy answer, and it's nice because it's alive. It's a living thing. It's natural.
Which doesn't really match with your favorite tool, does it?
You say that, but I find an angle grinder works beauty on wood. It's absolute charm. I've carved the handled interior with an angle grinder.
Okay. Awesome. When was the last oh shit moment during a project?
During a project, I think it was probably on Tira because it gets quite high pressure, air pressure, like up to like 100 psi.
Okay.
And I worked out it was all properly rated, so all the plastic piping is the correct stuff for air pressure. Okay. I was using the correct like bonding for the PVC. I think it's PVC or ABS, whichever is the safe one anyway.
Yep.
But then I was using valves from like car tires because I'm inflating it with a car inflator.
Yep.
And the valve was obviously not meant to be like put into plastic plumbing.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of kind of a squeaky moment and a little bit of air coming out, and I was like, yeah, this could be this potentially could fly out like a bullet at any time. Yep. And it's the bit that's like near my crotch as well when I'm holding it. So it's like, if anything's gonna go, this is where it's gonna fail. And just watching the pressure rise on the needle, it was quite nerve-wracking. I was like, do I trust my? It's down to me. Like I made it, so it was a question of do I trust my own engineering skills?
Exactly. It's like, is that material actually gonna hold up?
Yeah, I mean the material is rated. It's legally classified. It has to. Whereas I do not have a rating. There is no there is no AL rating. I could fail at any time.
Great. Where do you take your inspiration from?
I like to find it in the stupidest of places. So I obviously love TVs and film. Like old classic like action film, sci-fi stuff. And a lot of my kind of cultural influence comes from that. But when it comes to making, I mean, I like I made a hammer out of ham, that just came from this surreal kind of sense of humor that I think we all joke about, but then I will make those jokes into reality. So a lot of my inspiration and ideas come from just like throwaway things that people say. So like, wouldn't it be really funny if you made a hammer out of ham? It's like, okay, yeah, it would.
A hammer.
And I just go make it because I'm impressionable. So inspiration for me usually comes from jokes.
Okay. Then talking about that, like when looking at your videos, if somebody goes to your channel for like the first time, what is the first video they should watch?
I think Logan's Logs. I think if you don't understand that I dress up as Wolverine and do some woodworking, and if it's not for you, then don't watch any more of my videos. Because it's only like a minute long, so you don't have to invest in it. But you will understand everything that goes into it. So from playing the guitar at the start, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, filming it in black and white, actual woodworking, but also just dressing up and joking and messing around. If that minute doesn't tell you everything about my channel, leave.
That's true. The humor is not for everyone, but that makes it great.
Yeah, that's what I love about humor. Everybody's sense of humor is different.
Yeah, of course. You said you got your Al's Hack Shack, but you also got like actually I haven't met a lot of people that have so many collaborations as you do.
Right.
Want to talk a little bit over that?
Yeah, I mean, when I got into YouTube, not because I wanted a YouTube channel. I got into YouTube because people were helping me build my workshop.
Okay.
and so they wanted me to document it. So the first video on my channel is half an hour long, which is ridiculous, but it was me building my workshop because all these people helped me and gave me advice. So straight out of the gate, it was not about me having it. It was not like an ego project. It wasn't come and watch my channel, me.
Yeah.
It was I want everybody to be involved in what I'm doing because it's fun and it's constructive and it's helpful, and you know it's a place to have a laugh and have a joke with my friends. And so that's what I always think of. I always think of my YouTube channel is just me making jokes for my friends.
Okay.
I don't want to be famous. I don't want 1 million subscribers because I don't know them. Like I know the names of every one of my subscribers.
Wow. Yeah.
And I want to keep it that way because I'm doing things for them. So I'll just put things in the video for one of my subscribers. So it's completely irrelevant to everyone else, but they'll get the joke. And so for me, this idea of collaboration is that everything I'm doing is either with someone else or for someone else, so like the full flight stuff. There's a great example of like different makers from around the world with different skills, all doing very different things, but with the same theme. And I've never seen anything like that before on YouTube. I've never seen this kind of group videos.
That is true. That is something really special. Yeah.
And I think, especially with makers, it's very easy to just go, "Here's a video of me making something nice." It's like, great, I admire your skills, but I much prefer. Here's a video of me telling a story while I make something.
Yeah.
And if it involves somebody else, I absolutely love that.
Okay.
So yeah, bringing other people into the story makes it a dialogue like this, as opposed to just a speech or a rant or a monologue.
That is true. One of the things is like with the collab, is there though like one person, like they say like one maker, it's like if he would offer a collab, we would go like instant.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the beauty of the community is that everybody's got their own weird and wonderful skill set, you know. Like Tony Rouleau, beautiful metal engineering, you know. So for me to work with him, it would be about understanding the precision and the fineness, and I could do the opposite in the video, and it would be hilarious.
I just wanted to say like that would be quite the combination.
There's one beautifully like turned part on a piece, and everything else is just chaos.
I imagine you just like walking into like this old Tony.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even this old Tony. I don't know if you've been watching. Martin at Wintergarten built the marble machine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that for me is a great example of collaboration because he's using all the experts in their fields to do things. So this old Tony made a part for him.
That is true.
And everybody that has their skill set helps him out with the machine. I think that's genius because he can't do it all. But I would love to do something with the Maker Monster just because he's crazy.
Yeah. No, that would be actually like a perfect match.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jan. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. So first of all, who are you? What do you make? And where can you be found? If somebody doesn't know already.
I can be found in Birmingham, England today. I'm Paul Jackman from Jackman Works. I make woodworking, typically high-end reclaimed. I guess it's kind of my specialty if I have one. A lot of pallet wood projects, pallet wood laminations, and larger than life creations, kind of scaled up versions of other things that already exist.
Okay.
I'm from the US, as you can hear. from Washington, D.C.
Never would have thought that. Okay, so if people go to your channel, which is the first video they should watch?
The pallet wood workbenches, I think.
Okay.
Which is back 3 years maybe at this point.
Okay.
Made it all out of pallet wood, laminated the top of it from a bunch of pallet slats, just all glued together, and I still use the workbenches today. So they were like one of the first big pallet lamination projects that I ever did. Okay. And it's kind of just taken off from there. So it'll kind of make sense if you watch from that point, all the pallet projects. They kind of add one kind of aspect to the build with each project, and it's kind of gotten to where it is today. And they've all been built on that workbench, which is kind of cool.
Okay. Next one, basically which project did you make that looks great on camera but actually has like a ton of mistakes in it? And don't say all of them, because everyone told me that so far.
Yeah, there's mistakes in every one of them. I'm trying to think of one in particular. I mean, the big screwdriver that I made out of epoxy.
Okay.
There's a crack. It's hard to see on camera, but there is a crack in there on one of the layers.
Okay.
But it was poured out of epoxy. It's about 3 feet long. It's a 15-pound screwdriver, solid epoxy resin handle. The handle's about 6 inches in diameter. So epoxy resin overheats if you pour it too thick. Yep. So you can only pour it about a ½ inch at a time. So what I did, if people haven't seen it, is I made a silicone mold, a negative version of it, and it was in a box. So I mounted that to my lathe, poured epoxy in it, and then spun the lathe up. So all the epoxy went to the outside. Nice. So I ended up getting a ½ inch layer in rings from the outside and worked my way in. So if you go over ½ inch, it'll overheat and it'll crack or it'll boil. And I was doing good up until like the second to last layer, and that one just overheated just a little bit. So there's a crack, maybe 3 inches long, kind of in the center of the handle. So if you spin it around and look at it, you can see the crack in it. But otherwise, it turned out pretty good for being what it is.
That's great. That's basically why we control the camera.
It looks good in photos when you put it in the right orientation.
Nice. Did you ever have something that went like completely wrong, like that you actually had to restart, overdo?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, there's stuff that's gone wrong, and I figured out how to fix it to still get to the end goal of the end project.
Okay.
But I can't think of anything in particular that's completely failed. It'll happen.
At one point, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, to the last one, where do you take your inspiration from?
Everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. The more input you can get, the more you'll be able to output creative ideas and unique things. I mean, just looking at art, stuff outside our genre, outside of woodworking, just colors and patterns and textures is very intriguing to me, just kind of playing with that. That's why the palette wood is pretty special. Is I get all these hardwood palettes, all different colors, all different species, and just kind of playing with those colors, taking the advantage of this material that's not very ideal, really, and kind of taking its advantages and using those to your advantage and making stuff out of it. I mean, comedy's a big thing that I'm into, and incorporating that into the video. So there's a lot of comedians that it's similar to making, where they have to kind of craft these jokes and kind of develop them and get them to a final point where it's never really a final point, but it's good enough to kind of tell on stage. And just the crafting and the molding of the jokes and how they manipulate words and rhymes and just all that stuff to create like just hilarious pieces. Rory Scovel is like a great example. He's one of my favorites, American comedian. Not super popular, but he's like very niche, kind of underground comedy sort of thing. And he's just hilarious the way that he plays with the crowd, and he just ad-libs so much stuff. Nice. And I was just talking on stage a little bit ago about him. He did this bit on Conan, Conan O'Brien, the American comedian. He's got a late night show. And Conan was touring the country doing a live show, brought some of his favorite comedians with him, and Rory Scovel was one of them. And he does a stand-up bit for like 15-20 minute stand-up set. About halfway through, he's just like talking to the crowd. He just like kind of puts the mic down. He's like, I don't think you guys are connecting with me. I'm not feeling it. And he walks down into the crowd off the stage, and he just like walks down one of the aisles, like in between where people are sitting, and they like bumping into their knees. And he just starts going for a couple more minutes, starts doing his jokes up again, just like nothing's going on. And he's just like, you guys, you still aren't getting it. You aren't getting it. And he climbs up on the arms of somebody's seat, like 1 foot on each of his arms, and the guy's face is like in his crotch, basically. And he goes on for like maybe another 5 minutes, just like that, standing up on his seat. And just the way that he plays around with that is just hilarious.
Just situational comedy.
Yeah, and it's just completely just out of the blue. Like, I don't think he plans it too much, and just kind of rolling with the punches. Like the palette projects. Like, I have an end goal in mind. Like the nutcracker that I made, a 6 foot tall nutcracker. I was like, I'm gonna crush a coconut. Like, I'm gonna crush a coconut with this thing. That was the end goal. And just kind of getting there and playing with that idea is, I don't know, just kind of a connection that I see between the two genres, and it's very inspiring for me, at least.
Awesome. Okay, then thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to meet you, man.